Dan, have you ever wanted an app that collates all the scores and news from your favourite teams in the whole of Europe, Dan? Have you ever wanted that?
Is a constant need of mine, mate, because there's always news. That's the thing, is that we love this game. We love the industry of football because it's ever changing, mate, and you need a place to keep up with it all.
And we have that place exactly for you guys.
Do,
it's One Football. Guys, this app is it's life-changing.
It's great because I actually I use it. So it's great because it's where I pull the stats from for the podcast. So it's like there's all that new stuff as well, but you can track all of the players' stats from like across Europe for all the different leagues, for continental football as well. It's a dream. It's a dream. And the best part, mate, is it's free.
It's free, and guys, it would help support the channel massively if you check that One Football using the link in the description down below. We promise you guys won't be disappointed. Hello and welcome back to the Villa Filler podcast. I'm here, as always, with my good friend Dan Wiseman. And Dan, I just want to say, first of all, it's great to be back with you, buddy. I've missed you with all my heart. But what a job this guy did, guys, in the comments. Last episode, this guy...
Stop it.
Do you know what, Dan? I knew you'd be able to. Obviously, I trust you wholeheartedly. But I didn't think that you or anybody would be able to genuinely sit down and speak about that game for a whole 15 minutes by themselves. So massive credits to you, mate. The comments were loving it as well, mate. The comments were so good. And that's actually
they were.
It was received really well, especially considering we had a loss, because when we lose, you guys just don't listen, which is fair enough. But you all came out in the masses to listen to what you had to say, mate. So good job, man.
Yeah, man. First off, yeah, good to have you back, mate. I think, yeah, you know what? Honestly, I was like a bit worried about going solo because obviously, you know, people tune in for me and you, mate. It's the USP of this podcast is the friendship we've got, mate. It goes obviously a lot deeper than the Villa Filler. And yeah, I was a little bit worried. And then when Villa lost 4-0, I was like, oh my God, like what am I going to say? But yeah, thank you to everyone. And I wanted to give you more podcasts. It got a little bit busy, my end. And yeah, this is why it's good to have Dan back, because I said off air, mate, you hold me accountable to these things and you make sure that we get online and do them. So from me, and I think the Villa Filler fan base, it's good to have you back, mate.
It's good to be back. But yeah, for those of you guys who didn't know, I was away in New York for the week. If you follow me on social, it's been rammed down your throat for the past week, so I apologise. But I only bring it up because me and my mate Jake, shout out to Jake, go away with Jake and Sam, we watched the game in a pub called Football Factory in Manhattan, which is literally next to the Empire State Building. And it has like hundreds of screens and you can watch literally any game. So I wasn't actually planning on watching Villa, if I'm being honest. Again, the only reason I went, Jake wanted to go, and as well, shout out to Jack Grimsey or Grimes. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Jack. I'm so sorry. But if you're on Villa socials, you know who Jack is. It was great to meet up with him and his mate Sam. There were so many other guys, so many other American Villa fans who were there. I can't remember your name. Someone even listened to the pod, mate, which is pretty mental to be approached by someone and say, I saw this. Which is mad considering you're like literally like 4,000 miles away. So shout out to you. I can't remember your name, sir, but you were a Brummie living abroad in New York. So please tell me your name in the comments so I can remember that.
100%.
No, it was a great experience. I only ended up staying for the first half because we had a hospitality event at New York Red Bull shortly after. You know,
I know. Look at this guy.
I couldn't believe it, bro. I couldn't believe it. Who's this guy? I've stayed for the whole game.
God, you've changed.
I've been wearing a suit for a week. Who do I think I am? But yeah, I think I caught the good half of football, to be fair, mate. I think it's going to be a really good half.
100%, mate. 100%.
I haven't watched it back. I can't bring myself to do it. But do you know what? I genuinely... That 45 minutes of football absolutely ruined me for the week because we had drinks and we had people buy us drinks, which again, thank you very much, guys. So kind. You mean it's mad that you can travel all that way around the world and meet up with people who you have, you know, so much in common with. But it was all the singing and the chanting and that. When I'm watching a game in a pub, which obviously doesn't happen very often because, you know, home and away, that's how we do it here. I never sing or chant, and I usually cringe when I see people do it because I'm like, it's, you know, you're not there and it's a bit different.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I've never been one for it, but everybody was singing and it was brilliant because, you know, it's a completely different experience. You're so far away. And obviously, for these guys, they hear us singing in the stands, so it is natural. And you know, we was teaching them new chants and everything like that, and getting involved, and it was fantastic, mate. And my voice was in absolute bits. So I think we were probably like 6 drinks in before half time, and then we had a free bar at Red Bull, which obviously you have to take them to the cleaners, and with a lot of just shouting and singing throughout the whole day, my voice was completely gone. So it's just as well really that we didn't do anything on Zoom. Not that we planned on, mate, but I was unable to talk for the next few days pretty much.
Yeah, mate, it looked incredible. You did so much that I was very jealous of, mate. There was no time more jealous than when I saw you waltzing around the New York Red Bulls when I was sat watching the absolute dross in the second half. But yes, mate, it's back to be good to be back doing what we do. We're back, baby. We are back here on the Villa Filler. It's another transfer rumour. Life is good, mate. I'm very, very pleased. Back with us, mate. And I think it's an exciting rumour as well. I'm excited about this one, you know. It's like, Kondogbia is a player that apparently that Gerald was in Madrid to watch there. I found this really funny. So apparently Gerald was in Madrid to watch Atletico play against Man City in the second leg of their Champions League tie. It all got a little bit fraught. City went through an aggregate 1-0. Apparently Gerald was in attendance to watch GEOFFREY Kondogbia, according to Birmingham Live. And then I found this really funny. GEOFFREY Kondogbia gets watched by Aston Villa. In the next game, on the Sunday, he gets sent off. It's like you can't make this up, can you? That is the Villa effect in a nutshell, mate. That is what we do to these players. He's been flawless all season. And 3 days after Steve is in attendance to watch him bang red card in a game against Espanyol. Can't make it up, mate. But yeah, we're going to put that aside, mate. We're going to put that aside and cast our eye over what's a very exciting rumour, mate. Good to be back doing what we do best.
Absolutely. I don't think we could have asked for a more exciting rumour to come back to, mate. Transfer rumour mill. For whatever reason, this is really echoey. Am I echoey for you, Dan?
No, it's coming through fine.
Okay, right, fine. I'm just going to have to deal with the feedback. And Charlotte will be able to fix it in the edit if there's any problems. But no, GEOFFREY Kondogbia is, I don't want to say a household name. I don't expect everybody to know who this guy is, but had a great time at Valencia and was there for a very long time, Dan. And it almost felt like, when's this guy going to get the move? Because he was a standout, kind of holding that midfield down for the longest time. And really in Spain, there was probably only one club that he could move to, and he got the move to Atletico Madrid. And it's I don't want to say he's necessarily stolen the show there, because when you think of the midfield players that Atletico have and how they're all sixes, Dan, aren't they? You know, you look at Koke over the years, you look at Marcus Llorente, you look at all these players, and of course they're fantastic attacking players, but they're all back on the 6-yard line, mate, doing all the dirty work, which you just absolutely have to respect. But Kondogbia is, by definition, a 6, despite wearing shirt number 4. Standing at about 6'2", really physical presence in the midfield. I was saying to Dan off air, guys, these kind of players, it almost, if you haven't seen them, it's really hard for us to sit here and convince you statistically that this guy is absolutely the guy. He's the guy. And I don't think he is the guy. I think he's a guy that would most definitely improve Villa's midfield. But yeah, I mean, to go through the numbers just briefly, averaging 3.46 tackles per 90, 20 pressures per 90, 1.36 blocks, 2.5 interceptions there or thereabout, winning 2.35 of his aerials per 90, which puts him in the top sort of 14, 15 percentile of that, which is, again, that's something that you want. But yeah, without sitting here and running through all the other unflattering statistics, mate, it's a physical presence who is played at the highest level in Europe, holding down what is a very coveted position in a very defensive Atletico Madrid squad. I mean, you're no mug if you're holding down the Atletico Madrid midfield, are you, mate? And the thing is with Kondogbia, he got sent off the other day, but he's made 33 appearances so far this season, almost ever present. And, that's something you want. You want somebody who's reliable, who's going to play most of the games and not get himself sent off. But it almost feels, mate, we could be doing this and, you could tell me, you could hit me up on WhatsApp, mate, and say, mate, you won't believe who we're linked with. It's John Ludstrom. And I think it's a midfielder. Okay, let's go. Let's transfer RUMOUR, baby. I'm on board. Like, we just need midfielders, don't we, mate?
Yeah, 100%. No slander on John Lundstrom after his masterclass in the Scottish Cup the other day. But no, Geoffrey Kondogbia, man, he feels just like when you look at the eye test, he's exactly the kind of profile that we need. He is 29 years old, which is the only sort of caveat I put with this signing, because otherwise I think it's brilliant. I really struggle to fault this. The only thing is that obviously, he's not. I don't think that's necessarily a problem because, midfielders generally are coming in, we've seen it's a trend that midfielders sort of hit their peak around that age. I mean, you only have to look at the sort of generally like midfielders are really coming into their own in their early 30s. But he won't turn, he turned 29 in February. So he's got another year before he hits that dreaded 30-year-old line and he's cast aside by all Football Manager players. And I think, you look at him, he's a fantastic height to play in that position, seems really well suited to it. And I felt like, I actually said this, I think of Thomas Partey when he came to Arsenal, in that it's very easy to look at these guys sort of standing well over 6 foot, very broad shouldered, good presences in that midfield and sort of label them as destroyers and all this stuff. But he's so technically gifted, Kondogbia. He's a fantastic passer of the ball. He was very good across those 2 games against Manchester City, and they're very difficult midfields to operate in, as we well know. And I think, it's very testament to him to say that he was obviously fasting as well during both of those games for the month of Ramadan. So he put both of those performances in without having had the proper build-up to the games and everything like that in terms of nutrition. So it's a fantastic testament to him, as I said, to go and put in that kind of ball-winning performance. But yeah, you're absolutely right, mate, in that I think the numbers don't flatter him as much as perhaps they should. I think that's perhaps a system thing. Obviously that Atletico team has a lot of fantastic players in there, but I'm sure if you dug up the statistics, they wouldn't perhaps read as handsomely as you'd like. I'm sure Kondogbia's got it in him to play more defense splitting passes, to be a bit more possessant, to have more dribbles completed and ball carries and stuff like that. But such is the Diego Simeone system that he has to roll in that team, and that's why, as you said, perhaps the numbers don't flatter him. But yeah, this guy's played all over Europe. He's played in France, he's played in Italy, he's played in Spain, 3 clubs in Spain, Sevilla, Valencia and Atletico Madrid, had a spell at Inter Milan. And he was very crucial to Atletico Madrid's sort of forgotten La Liga triumph last season, played 25 games in the league for them as they marched to their first title in, I think it was 10 years. It had been a while. He's 57 caps for France across youth levels. Actually made his debut for the senior team in 2013, but he switched his allegiance to the Central African Republic in 2018. He's a player that has played really all over. He's got a fantastic CV. And it's hard to really see any qualms with this one, mate.
It is, and he's actually managed 2 assists and created 2 big chances so far this season. So, still managing to create. One thing that has surprised me now, I'm going to need some clarity here from the guys at SofaScore, but it's saying he's only made 47 touches. throughout the season. Surely that's an average. Surely that's bang on.
Yes, I would like to say.
That doesn't make much sense. Yeah, again, the stats aren't very flattering, guys, clearly. But when, it's important that you reference the Partey thing, mate, because again, I still think we yet to see the best of him in an Arsenal shirt. Certainly, we've certainly not seen anything like what he was doing at Atleti. Is Kondogbia going? Is he the guy that we need that can hold down that midfield by himself? Because I'm not entirely sure that Gerrard is either willing or capable of changing things up in regards to how the fullbacks are going to persist in attack. And I think that's so vital to how he plays, and he's creating an identity for himself. And I think Chelsea, City, Liverpool, I was about to say United, but quite clearly United can't play like that after the massacre we just witnessed, mate. The top teams can afford to play like that. And if you have indispensable money that you can go out and get whoever in, eventually you'll be able to play like that at Villa. But that isn't the reality of the situation that we have on our hands. The fullbacks bomb on, other two midfielders kind of fill in the gaps, and you're left with whoever that may be, Douglas Luiz, Marvelous Nakamba, anchoring that whole midfield. Is Kondogbia capable of that, do you think, mate? Because, when we're talking stylistically how Atleti have been playing, it's a complete contrast, mate, isn't it? It's a complete contrast to having 4 or 5 bodies around you at all times to then being the guy where more often than not, there's probably about 20 yards of space from you and the attackers and also the defenders behind you, mate.
Yeah, I think it would definitely be... It's a difficult one to say, mate. It's a difficult one to say. I think perhaps, you could look further back, in his career to times with Valencia, perhaps is a good choice, who are not the side that they once were. They've sort of been finishing around mid-table in La Liga for the best part of about 5 or so years now. They're 10th this season. When he was playing for them, I think the highest they finished was 9th, if I'm right in saying. Or no, 4th. Yeah, sorry. They got one 4th place finish. They got 4th in the 2018-19 season before they finished 9th and then 13th. So, he has played in these sort of mid-table, mid-tier sides before. But you're right in saying, obviously, that was some time ago. We were signing him from Atletico Madrid, where he does play in a very different system. I don't think, in answer to your question, he's the sole answer to this midfield. I don't think, I was always sort of a bit hesitant, even when we were linked with the 6, to say that the 6 solves everything. The perfect 6 walks into this Villa side and it changes everything. I don't think it's quite that simple. I think there's a lot more to it. I think our midfield needs some quite significant changes. But I think he's a massive step in the right direction. I think we've missed a presence for a very long time. And look, I think he can certainly paper over a lot of cracks. I don't think he can walk into this team on his own and change it around, no. But I think he offers us a different level of technique, a different level of experience, and a different kind of presence in that midfield to what we've got at the moment. And I think that does go a long way. But is he the sort of missing, the last piece of the jigsaw? Absolutely not. We've got a lot more to come after that.
I feel like we've got the outer part of the jigsaw done. That's it.
Yes.
We're looking to fill the middle in. We've got all the straight pieces.
The box.
Yeah, we've opened the box.
Is open. The mess is there. That's where we're at currently.
Yeah, man, for sure. And I think the problem is as well, we've put such an emphasis on this as a fan base. And, I've been that guy as well. Villa need a 6. We need to free Douglas Luiz. We need to free Morgan Sanson, which I think he will probably be freed for other reasons in the summer. It's looking like now, mate, because he's just not playing.
He'll just be free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just contract terminated, free transfer, whoever wants him. Wow, personally, I really shat the bed with that one. But that's a conversation for another video, isn't it, mate? If I remember, I'm going to throw up the heat map on the screen right now, just so you guys can gauge where he is, how active he is. And it is impressive. It is impressive. I think what this does is, signing a proper six, if anything, it frees up the other midfielders in their roles. And as you said, mate, by no means does signing GEOFFREY Kondogbia mean we're going to win the league by any stretch of your imagination. But I think we see much better performances from John McGinn, Douglas Luiz, Jacob Ramsey, whoever you choose to play in the two midfield spots just slightly ahead of him, which I think is really important. And I'm definitely on board with this signing, mate. I think, he's someone who is valued at around 15 million euros at the moment, according to SofaScore. I think there's a deal that can be done there. I think as well, if you look at this Atleti squad, I don't think there isn't anybody who isn't up for sale. I think that's just the business model that they run. They will happily let players go and get in replacements on the cheap. And that's not to say that they won't spend money, but with how the Griezmann deal worked, and then getting Suarez for free, you sell Griezmann to Barcelona for like 90 million euros. He has 2 shit seasons there, and then you've loaned him back, and then I think they have the option to buy him back for 30 mil. These guys know how to work a deal, so I'm sure that Christian Perslow and Langer can sort something out, mate. I'm confident about that. But again, I think that's probably another conversation for another video, mate, about how we go about business, because there's been some Coutinho talk, hasn't there, mate? We should probably end it with that.
Yes,
because I feel like it doesn't warrant enough to be a solo video, but it's quite alarming, really, that we take ourselves back, mate, to the end of January, and every outlet is reporting Coutinho is Villa's for 33 million in the summer should they want him. We've got first right to bid, all this kind of stuff. Coutinho wants to come to Villa. And now it appears the conversation it has pivoted towards, well, actually, you guys are going to want to halve that because we're going to want to take on this wage bill. Is this not a conversation that happens during the negotiation anyway? Because whilst Barcelona, have been kind enough, I guess, to loan us Coutinho right now, and again, it is so as they could get players in through the door. But there has been this conversation quite clearly about a view of a permanent deal in the summer. Why all of a sudden are Villa changing their mind on what's been agreed? And this doesn't really make a lot of sense, does it, mate?
Yeah, it seems it's so difficult to tell what's going on, mate, because when you deal with these elite clubs, there's so many journalists that want to scoop, so many papers want to have a say. It's actually one of the bigger pieces of business that Barcelona will do this summer. It's very important that they get a few players off their books. It's going to be very interesting to see how they do a lot of their business. Coutinho being one of the sales, Griezmann, who you just mentioned, is another one. You've got the likes of Trincao on loan at Wolves, and that will in turn affect the Adama deal that goes the other way. So it's actually Barcelona's outgoings this summer, which I really want to watch, I think, because it will then dictate just how, if they do get the 30 million that they want for Coutinho, then the asking price for Lewandowski apparently is only 40 million. And you can see how important these kind of deals are going to be, and their end of window goals. I think also, but I would take it all with a pinch of salt, mate. I don't believe that these sort of things are done on a whim, as you say, mate. I do doubt it a little bit that this agreement is put in place with a sort of potential fee, an option to buy, if you will, sort of at the end of the season and midway through, we sort of going like, actually, could you halve that because we don't think we can actually afford his wages now? And that's the only thing I will say is consistent, is that his wages have been a stumbling block since the start. We're on a deal right now, like, well, Barca are paying a proportion of his wages, and it's been known since he came on loan that it was going to be tricky for Villa to make that a permanent switch and pay those wages. it remains to be seen whether we will do that. It remains to be seen whether that's a good idea to sort of break the bank and give this guy sort of 300 grand a week. As you say, mate, perhaps another one for another video. But I wouldn't buy into it all that it's sort of still ongoing. But I suppose we'll see in the summer. If we sign him for 15 million, we'll end up with egg on our face, mate. But I can't see that happening at the best of times anyway, because he's worth more than that.
For sure. And hopefully the deal just gets done, really. I think, it was a bit of a dodgy source. I can't remember where it was coming from off the top of my head, mate, but it's not the kind
it's
of...
It's been quite a few output, yeah. There's been a few, to be fair.
You don't want to hear that, though, do you? Especially at this point, especially when things aren't particularly going great. And as you say, mate, it could just be someone who was looking for a scoop. But I think, we've all kind of heard things, mate, about how Purslow operates, and that's why I think I'm sat here and somewhat concerned, because it doesn't seem too far off how I imagine the deal may go in the summer. But that's just Christian Purslow for you. Again, that's a topic for another video. But guys, it's great to be back with you, Dan. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. If you guys think Geoffrey Kondogbia is the man, let us know in the comments down below. If you haven't heard of him before now, it's time to get acquainted. Hopefully this is a deal that we can see get done throughout the summer. And I just want to thank you guys for the support on the past few podcasts. It's been mad, Villa have been shit, but you guys have been killing it. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe so you never miss a podcast from us here at Heart of the Holte and Up the Villa.